Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snarky True Crime and Skincare.
Hi.
How you doing? Hi,
Struggling.
Katie. Oh my God, it's so good to see you. How's everybody out there doing? It was so good to see you live and in person last time.
You believe it's already been a week? How sad is that?
I know. I'm still walking on
fast.
air though.
I know.
Sorry,
aside from that stupid Thursday game, it was fine.
Well, so it was great to see you, and it was great to see Matt, and it was great to see like 20 other people, friends. And hey, hi, so glad you're here with us. Yeah, we were just talking about how great it was for Katie and I to do the podcast live and in person together, and it's a whole week ago. But we need to do that. Like, we have to have that be an annual tradition.
I know.
Right?
Really, we do. Yeah, it was so fun.
All right, so everybody's been following along. This is the 7th episode, our episode of reacting to commentary about our opinions on the testimony of Wendi Adelson in the murder trial for Katherine Magbanua of Professor Dan Markel. And although we like to giggle a little bit and have fun here, we never ever lose sight of how serious this matter is. So with that,
there's finally a trial coming up. Yay.
And I know, and we're getting primed for the trial, and there's going to be another testimony because she is on the witness list, both for the defense and the state. So there could very well be a third round of testimony that we can react to, which is really going to be great. And 20 days from now, the jury selection starts for Charles Adelson. Yes, for his trial. It'll be the fourth conviction in this murder, with other named conspirators yet to be convicted. So, and one of them being Wendi Adelson. Oh, imagine that. So, you ready to get started?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Now, this is the final of the testimony. It's going to be about 25 minutes long. We're going to break in between. If you're in the comments, just shout stop or pause. Katie does that with me. She has me pause. This is when the defense for Magbanua actually is cross-examining Wendi Adelson, and it's colorful, and we like that. So let's go.
Yay.
Hopefully the sound will be better, but I have no control over the sound.
Ms. Kappelman, you may continue with your direct if necessary.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Adelson, I approach you with what I marked as State's Exhibit 64.
Oh,
Ms. Adelson,
I think you can fast forward.
Yep, I think we can go a little further.
This.
Oops. Here we go. Just about a minute.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Be admitted as State's Exhibit 64.
Here we go.
no other questions.
No other
right, thank you.
questions.
Cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Adelson, this is all about you, isn't it?
Excuse me?
This is all about you, right?
I was called to be a witness and I'm testifying, so I don't understand the question. Is it a question?
There's about 100 people in this courtroom, right?
There are people in the courtroom.
Possibly thousands watching, right?
I have no idea who's watching.
And it's all because of your failed marriage, right?
I disagree with that.
You disagree that your ex-husband is dead because of your family.
Yes, I disagree.
These jurors are here for weeks doing their civic duty because of your marriage, right?
No.
Katie's going through this ordeal because of that marriage, right? because of your failed marriage. Isn't that right?
No, that's incorrect.
Well, let's talk about the marriage.
So what I noticed,
What a hell of a way to start this.
yeah, yes. And
Wow.
and this is a great lesson, what this attorney DeCoste, I always think of DeCoste,
Yeah.
which is actually Lacasse, but it's Lacasse. But anyway, but I digress. I love that he's giving us a primer in how to deflect. In other words, not to let somebody who's being incooperative in a conversation distract us. He just stays right on his point. He doesn't care what she says. We don't care what she says because we know the truth, right? Or this is what he's saying because we know the truth, right? He knows a lot more than obviously we do. They have a lot more evidence than will ever be released or will be released for a while anyway, because there are other people that are named. And so I just love this deflection and diffusion, really, of what could become a back and forth petty argument, which is what she's trying to do. She's trying to drag him down. And this might be how you would respond, and I'm talking about Wendy's response, if you were, across a dinner table in a room with somebody, but she's on the stand.
Right.
And she's trying to, to me, this says how personalized this is to her. Yeah. And how defensive she is, because she wouldn't have to deflect. She would, if she was truly puzzled, excuse me, you don't say that to an attorney in a courtroom asking you a question. Now, he could have said, excuse, you didn't hear me? He didn't do that. He didn't digress. But that probably would have been what I would be tempted to do.
Yeah.
Excuse you what?
Right.
What should he excuse you for? I mean.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just keeps going. He does not take the bait.
Exactly. He keeps on rolling.
Yep.
So hello, T. Cancella. I love it. Hi, Helen. And Helen says hi to T. Cancella, and Katie says hi, y'all. And T. Cancella says, and I hope I'm pronouncing this, is it Cancella? I'm not sure. Or Cancella, if it's Spanish. Many times listening to her, I think Wendi is the ultimate sociopath beyond Donna. Wendi played her entire family, willing to manipulate them, stir them up to murder, convince Donna it was her idea. Could be.
Yeah.
That would not be hard to believe.
Yeah.
And she said, and Cancella, and tell me if maybe give me if I'm making a mistake on Cancella, give me the phonetic in the comments and I'll correct it. Being involved in the murder of your boy's father is next level. I agree. I just can't.
You and Professor Markel, you met when you were in law school. You told that to Miss Capel. It was a whirlwind romance, right? Right?
It was not a whirlwind romance, no.
It led to a wedding, February 26th of 2006. You had a big wedding in Boca Raton, right?
Did we get married on February 26, 2006? Is that the question? Yes.
In Boca Raton.
In Boca Raton, Florida.
And it wasn't a small wedding. It was a big wedding.
There were many people in attendance.
So did we get married there were a lot of people? This shows that Wendi can be what? A brat. Let the inner brat come out. She just seems like a brat here, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And like high schoolish.
Yeah, she's going on the defense, and she's trying so hard to regain control because she doesn't have it here, because he won't let her have it here.
Well, not only that, but she's an attorney. She's educated.
Yep.
Theoretically, she didn't buy her degree like Charlie did. I'm beginning to wonder, though, because it does not, to me, has just never come across as polished. Mm-hmm. She's never come across as sophisticated. Right. She's never come across it really as that intelligent, apart from reading her, her resume. Mm-hmm. And then she reverts to this. She looks like a hot mess here, but also to her high school bratty kind of combative behavior. Now, she does do pretty well sometimes, but not very often. I would expect more, really, from somebody with those kind of credentials. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Helen says she got good grades because she was. Yep.
Okay.
Anything's possible.
Right, and this marriage has led to
doesn't come
2
across
children,
as
right? Your 2
sophisticated to
boys.
me.
Are you asking me if I have 2 boys?
Yes.
Yes.
Professor Markel, he was a great father, wasn't he?
So, are you asking me if I have 2 boys? That, as a juror, is not going to go off well.
No.
And remember, it's the jury, right? That she's, I mean, in this case, I guess she doesn't care what the jury thinks of her. I mean, she wants to be believed, but
she's not on trial, and neither is her family. So I'm sure it's not as important to her.
Yeah, she doesn't care whether Magbanua. I would think, though, and chat, help me out with this, or commenters when you replay. Wouldn't Wendi have a vested interest if she was a co-conspirator, as Georgia has named her, in having Katherine Magbanua get off? Because now she's in the situation where she's in prison and she's turned into a state. Yeah.
He was a very good father, yes.
Those boys were his world.
Yeah.
Right?
She said something nice.
Word.
I know, isn't that crazy?
And they adored him too, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Now, this marriage started to fall apart, right?
It did.
But there were problems from the very beginning, weren't there?
It did. So 2 times in a row, I think she's realizing maybe she better tone it down a little.
Yeah. And I cannot believe she said something nice about Dan.
She said something.
And he was a good father.
Yep. She said something nice about Dan, that the boys adored him. She said yes. And then she just said the marriage fell apart. It did. So she's, I think she's realized that she's sparring with somebody who's above her pay grade. Who might actually be sophisticated and a sophisticated attorney.
Good at their job.
Are you asking me, what is the very beginning? The very beginning of when we got married?
Literally at the wedding.
There were problems before we got married.
Yeah, so she fell into that one because she could have just said, yeah, we started having problems early on. It didn't give him, then this gave him the chance to bring up what happened at the wedding. Yeah. So she made a mistake there. I'm so sophisticated. I disagree. I disagree that she's all that intelligent because she's just not.
All right. So at the wedding, here, the government asked you about kosher law, right?
About what? I'm sorry?
Keeping kosher.
About keeping kosher, yes.
Right? In your wedding, at your wedding.
She doesn't know the word kosherate. But she knows kosher style.
Yes.
Real sophisticated.
Was the groom's family, the Markel family, and they are more strict than your family and friends about keeping kosher.
They do not keep kosher.
Wasn't that one of the problems in your marriage, that Professor Markel was very insistent about keeping kosher?
About his kosher rules, but those are different than his family's.
So you're saying that it wasn't a problem at the wedding, that there were people from the groom's side of the family that were there that strictly keep kosher, that they were told that it was going to be kosher food, but it actually wasn't?
So there was a misunderstanding about whether the food was going to be kosher style or more in adherence with kosher law. There was a miscommunication about that.
I know, right?
I just can't.
Dan never did kosher style, so just stop. Like, people don't do kosher style.
I have never heard of it. I have many Jewish friends, some that are practice more strictly and some not so much. Not passing judgment on any of that, but I have actually never personally heard kosher style. Maybe that is because I'm not as sophisticated as Wendi.
So you had people that strictly keep kosher eating non-kosher food, which is a big deal.
That actually is not what happened. Danny was upset that it was kosher style and not strictly adhering to kosher law. So he was disappointed.
So there's problems right from the beginning.
That was a problem at our wedding, yeah.
Fast forward now to September 10th, 2012. Professor Markel, he's away on a business trip, right?
Yes,
He's in New York City at New York University, right?
I believe so, yes.
And he's doing a presentation.
I don't know what he was doing.
Your husband at the time was in New York to give a presentation. You knew that, right?
I knew he was in New York. I didn't know if he was attending a conference or giving a presentation, but he was in New York for work.
Now, you had not communicated with him for 2 days.
I really don't remember.
You text him at around 2:30 in the afternoon, right? Right before he's about to do the presentation.
I really don't remember.
But you do.
Again, one of the most important days of your life, as in you're giving your husband divorce papers, and I don't remember.
Especially, yep, I agree. You would remember, and
You know what you're doing.
well, it was planned. I mean,
Right.
by all accounts, it wasn't just, oh, I'm going to do it right now. It wasn't random.
Right.
She
She did it when she did it for a reason.
because she had to move things out of the home.
Right.
And all of, yeah,
And he wasn't home. She knows. Like,
correct. Yeah.
and don't tell me you haven't gone through all this stuff over and over again for these trials. You know what time you gave him the divorce papers. Like, it's,
Oh, yeah. She knew exactly what she was doing.
yeah.
And hello to Debbie Martin. It's good to see you.
Mama, don't you telling him that you wanted a divorce.
So I did not drop a bomb on him. We'd been in therapy for several months beforehand where I told him several times I wanted a divorce.
You say
Look
it's
how
not
big her eyes are.
Right. So you see, and she has a total different look
Uh-huh.
than when she's speaking with Georgia.
It's not the innocent baby doe, like, this is a very combative look. Like,
Yeah,
staring
right.
you down, I'm going to war with you.
Right. Because her little baby doe wouldn't work with him.
Right.
He was, and of course he has a total different style than Georgia.
Right.
I love his, he reminds me of Clarence Darrow.
He begged you to reconsider.
He was very upset and yes, wanted me to reconsider, but
In that phone call, he's begging you to
So she just can't say yes to anything.
No.
She has to reframe everything. And people notice that. I noticed it. I'm a potential juror.
Yes.
I see. She had big eyes. I love this attorney's voice. Yes, I love his voice. I do too. I agree. I really appreciated this cross-examination.
reconsider. Please don't leave. Please don't break up our family, right?
he was very upset, yes.
And
Again,
he was heartbroken. I mean,
reframing.
upset indicates that there was anger. What he was heartbroken, right?
That I decided to divorce him after telling him I would, yes.
Despite being at NYU for a presentation, he rushes home. He gets on the next flight, right?
I honestly don't remember if he got on the next flight, but he did come home quickly.
2:30.
So again, she's trying. She's desperately not succeeding at trying to make it seem like, well, I was going to leave him and he knew, but we talked about it for months. And of course he was upset, but she just can't seem to accept that and this to me is really interesting because this man got murdered, right? One way or another, whether she's involved or not, right?
Right.
But she can't. So is there some guilt here because she just can't agree that she really broke his heart?
Right.
She's trying to say, oh, well, we talked about it for months and but she does not want to accept, not only did she break his heart, but she's possibly involved with his murder.
And there right before that, she made a comment and it made it seem like it was all about me and her being the victim. Even though it was her choice for the divorce, she's still making it seem she's the victim in this.
Exactly. 100%. Just like in her police interview. Exactly. Exasperated. Yes. Society page. Another suggestion for Society page video music. I love it. And welcome, Society page. Good to see you.
8:30, he finds out in New York by 11 p.m. he's walking in the door to your old house at Trescott Drive, right?
I don't know.
But you do know that when he walks in the house, what he finds. You know that, right?
Yes, I left him the papers.
You left the divorce papers on the bed, right?
Yes,
Half the furniture was gone.
half the furniture was not gone.
A good amount of his stuff was gone.
Nothing of his was gone.
The boys' stuff was gone, right?
Some of the boys' things were gone. I'd taken enough so that I had for the boys, but no,
You were gone,
I was gone, yes.
and so were his boys.
His boys were not gone. He saw them the next day.
She's just so, she looks exactly like Elizabeth Holmes right here.
Mm.
Unbelievable resemblance between those two. Do you know who Elizabeth Holmes is?
Yep.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. I always have to do that so I remember to screenshot. Yeah, her natural eye color is brown.
And they would not have been awake if he's coming home at 11 p.m.
Let's stay on topic here.
I'd
When
love
he
to stay
walks
on
in
topic.
when he walks in the door, the boys are not in the house, right?
Correct.
You did not tell Professor Markel where you were taking the boys. He may have seen them the next day, but you did not let him know where you were going to be staying with his boys.
With our boys? Yes.
So you agree with me that they're also his,
Of course they're his.
and he should be entitled.
That's the only time she refers to, one of the few times I should say, the only time I can recall her referring to our boys. When it's
Every other time it's my boys.
My boys. Yep.
Yeah, but because the defense attorney is saying his,
Right.
she can't. Yeah, she
Yeah.
can't let that go.
No.
Also, it's interesting to me, the psychoanalysis. I just realized this, that she left the divorce papers on their marriage bed. Like
yes.
there could have been other places in the house for her to have left them. So it's interesting that she put them on the bed,
Right.
on their bed. Like, why not the nightstand beside the bed? Why not the table? Why not the counter?
Posted on the
Because you
door.
know,
Yes,
Yeah.
something.
well, that's interesting.
Very.
Just
And he called it out.
To know where his wife is taking his children.
Absolutely.
That's not all you took.
Okay, absolutely. And she's shaking her head no. She's saying yes, shaking her head no. So which
Right.
is it? Deceptive.
Excuse me.
You two had a joint checking account at Schwab, right?
We did.
And you went in.
She's like, like maybe if she laughs and stares at him long enough and acts, because she is still trying to look innocent here.
Yeah, she's trying to get her charm to work on a
to
male.
maybe make him mellow out, but it's not working it.
No.
You did that account before you dropped the bomb. And you took out half of that account, right?
Correct.
Roughly $350,000.
Oh, shit.
Half, yes.
Yeah.
Of our joint
$350,000.
I don't remember the amount, but yes.
You know that it was in the hundreds of thousands.
I really don't remember the amount, sir.
Yes, you
Is
do.
that significant of a sum to you?
How
that
would you
don't
forget?
remember?
Insignificant sum. I'm saying I can't attest to the amount that was there.
I'm going to tone it down. You were unhappy.
Yeah. And that is because she wants to protect herself from saying anything that could later be used, either false. If she makes any false statement, then her whole
Immunity.
immunity, very limited immunity, would
Right.
go away. But if she were named and convicted, or tried, excuse me, she would have to have whatever she said used.
And it happens.
I'm a little bit paused. I'm a little bit pissed at Dan or whoever because he knows that she wants a divorce that bad, right? And if they have a joint checking account, why don't, who the hell is keeping $700,000 in their checking account? Like, not only in their checking account, but why didn't he protect himself better? I guess.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, here's the thing. That's a good point because she's acting like he should have known she was leaving.
right.
If he knew she was leaving, he would have protected his assets.
Right.
So he didn't know she was leaving.
No.
He was shocked. And by all accounts, he was shocked. But just the point you made is very astute because it kind of disproves what she was trying to say earlier. Like if he knew, and I think a jury, on a jury, I would be like, well, if he knew, wouldn't he have, because he was then going after that money that she took later, and they went through that in the divorce proceedings.
And I can only assume, because he's smarter and because of his job, I can only assume he made more money than she did. So she's not technically entitled to half. So she took it. Yeah.
Right.
I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
no, I got you. We understand. And Debbie says too that Dan was said to be a whiz at investing. That doesn't surprise me.
No, but then
it wasn't in
a better place than just his checking account.
Right. It wasn't just a checking account. Yeah. So there wasn't 700,000 in his checking.
Sure.
Okay. Yes. Oh, and society page. Love it. We're going to get a little preview of the next video, maybe. I love her videos. It's so great. Well, hi, Tosh.
Yes.
But you complained constantly about it, didn't you?
No, I don't think I complained constantly.
To anyone that would listen.
No, that's not true.
So she says, no, I didn't, but he keeps going to anyone who would listen. He just keeps going because we know that's not true.
Right. Just ask anybody around her.
You can complain to the one person that would actually do something about it.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Your big brother, Charles Adelson, you complained to him about how bad Professor Markel was and how much you hated him and didn't want to be in a marriage with him.
I definitely talked to my brother about how unhappy I was in my marriage. If that's the question, then yes. Is that the question?
Yes, that is a question. You talked to your brother, Charles Adelson, about how bad your marriage was.
I did, yes.
Let's talk about it. Government asked you about Charles Adelson. He's an intelligent guy, right?
He is smart.
He's both book smart and street smart, right?
I would say so.
You would say that he's a talker.
He does like to talk.
He's got the gift of gab, so to speak.
I wouldn't say he's the gift of gab, but he does talk.
He knows what to say in the moment.
So she just say yes. Yeah, he likes to talk. He's got the gift of gab. What is the difference between those two things? Does anyone know? To enlighten me, okay? Anyone who understands the difference between somebody who likes to talk a lot and the gift of gab? Because for me, I always thought it was the same thing.
Right.
I thought that's what
she cannot give a direct answer for nothing.
I can't agree. This is gonna.
And it's just making her look worse.
Really makes her look bad. Really makes her look bad. Yep,
I agree.
I wouldn't say that's true either.
You would say, though, that he is. You were asked questions about drug purchasing and stuff like that. You'd agree with me that he's also street smart.
I mean, I think he has common sense.
Again, common
What's the
sense
difference?
and street smarts. Yeah, enlighten us, Wendy. I mean, again, he has a limited amount of time. He doesn't want to come off as, catty like she does. But for me, it's just like I would be so tempted. What is the difference between street smarts and common sense? Like,
when the jury can ask a question, I would be like, why can't you just answer a question?
Right. It's annoying.
That would be,
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
And that he lives life to a certain extent on both sides of the track. During the day, he's doing periodontal work, whatever that is, crowns, canals, whatever that is. He's doing that during the day. At night, he's out with friends, he's buying drugs, he's living life on both sides of the track.
I don't know about that. I think he's out buying drugs.
Now, let's talk for a second about WhatsApp. And as an aside here,
I don't know if he's out buying drugs.
Yeah.
Bobblehead. The bobblehead's back.
For a second. The government asked you the question if you used WhatsApp, right? You remember that?
I remember them asking me, yes.
On the day that Professor Markel was killed,
Say yes.
right?
I talked to the police.
And you also gave them your phone for them to inspect.
Absolutely.
So
Pause.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, that. And at other points, she's like, I signed my life away.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was so terrifying.
Right. Right. She
I
said she
can't
was
think of the word.
terrified.
Like PTSD to me. Like it was so awful in 6 hours. And then he's like, but you gave them your phone. She's like, absolutely. Like,
Right.
What is it, Wendi?
Well, and this is why I think she's conflicted about it, because she says absolutely and she's nodding her head back and forth. No. So it doesn't necessarily mean she's lying. It just, to me, feels like, and again, I'm not an expert at any of this, but to me, it feels like she's conflicted about it. Yeah. And Cancella says, if you notice, she doesn't get defensive when things are pointed at Charlie. And she almost agrees. Yeah. She, honestly, I felt like in that police interview, she was throwing Charlie right under the bus. Yeah, so fast. It was like 5 minutes. And
the determination of what, if any, WhatsApp was being used, they would have from the download they did that day of your phone.
Sure.
Now, would you be surprised to learn that your brother used WhatsApp?
See all that?
So now we got, and the tilted
See all
head
that?
and the lips. The tilted head and the lips.
There is like some nervousness happening right now.
Yeah, and she's still trying to be somewhat flirtatious with him because he's a man and maybe that'll work.
Yeah, there's just a lot of extra head movement happening.
All the extra. Yep. Take note of what she's being asked when that happens.
You would agree with me that WhatsApp, and you explained it well, is end-to-end encryption.
Correct.
In your lay opinion, if you can explain to the jurors, just in case they don't know, what that means.
I know that it's something we use at my work because essentially it has the ability to keep things more private. I also know that nothing's actually private and that anyone who wants to can uncode the messages. So that's what we tell people at our work.
So the thought is with WhatsApp,
It's interesting.
So now we're admitting to using it at work, where before she's like, I don't know if I ever used it.
And the only reason she knows how it works is because they use it at her work. She acts like she's working in a factory or something. It's like my work.
I'm a freaking lawyer.
My work as an attorney. It's like,
good Lord.
I mean, she should be smart, right? We're all thinking she's smart because of her credentials and more sophisticated. She could say, yes, I'm an attorney and this is how we, I don't get she's trying to dumb herself down here.
Right.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
I use my phone and then I call somebody.
Unless that's the real Wendi, which I can't figure out. Dumb down.
I text somebody, it's recordable, right?
I think so.
But with WhatsApp, you can send messages or have phone calls where there's no record of it.
I don't think that's true. I think there is still a record of it.
But the belief and the thought, I'll withdraw that question. Your lay understanding, though, is that the footprint that it leaves is much less than that of normal communications.
I think it's different, but I think it still leaves a digital footprint that's easily uncodable.
If you were to send a WhatsApp message to Ms. Kappelman, it would show that a message was sent, but it would be hard to get what the content of the message is.
I don't think that's true.
All right. Let's talk about.
I don't think that's true.
You don't deny that he joked about hiring a hitman.
He did.
You don't deny that he repeated this joke.
He did.
And he made this joke right before a hitman murdered Professor Markel.
I don't know that to be true.
Okay. He made the joke right before, and I'll leave out the hitman part. Professor Markel was killed.
He made the joke the morning that I talked to him.
Can you think of one person?
Which is the day he was killed. So say yes, Wendi. Say yes.
He made the joke the morning that I talked to him. I mean, this tells me she's really concerned about this. Because because she's actually offering a little bit more there than she needs to.
Right.
But I mean, it's she's falling into her own trap.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because she can't just say yes.
Yeah, because she's trying to maintain control.
Right.
And I think it's backfiring. In my opinion, it's backfiring as a potential juror.
I agree.
That would actually hire two people to go kill Professor Markel other than your family?
She's like, Judge, help me, Judge.
What the hell is this?
She's like, he can't ask me that question. Help me. I can't answer that.
That is so telling right there. That question.
And then her looking for help instead of just
Right.
answering.
Help me. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to help you.
Ms. Adelson, please answer, please
I'd
address
love
me
to.
and
It
answer the
just, it
question.
calls for an unbelievable amount of speculation.
So that would have been up to Georgia to object if she wanted to. But hey, guess what?
We don't want to.
This is working out for the state.
Right.
Look at that face.
Help me.
I'm trying to be cute about this. No, you're not. It's not cute. Yeah,
Crazy.
and it
Crazy.
is such a sick statement. Let's try to just
It's not
be charming. Her attempts at being charming are just so off-putting. Yes, and Deb, Society page says Wendy's a horrible actress. I don't care what Donna thinks. Yeah, Donna thinks she's a great actress, and she just needs to dial up her skills. Judgy Wudgy, help me.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Little baby begging for help.
I'm responsible for coming up with, that's the prosecutor's duty, to figure out who's responsible.
Did you hear the answer? She
It's
said,
it's the prosecutor's job to figure out who's
it
responsible.
was a little quiet. So she said, I'm responsible for figuring out who did this. Isn't that the prosecutor? Again, that is not a good look.
No. And the prosecutor did figure it out.
Right. Should the judge have objected to her asking for his help? He could have, but the attorney stepped right in and said, please answer the question.
Yeah.
The judge, if the attorney hadn't done that, the judge certainly could have said, please answer the question.
Yep.
You're not allowed to object. That's the
Right.
attorneys in the room, right? All of a sudden she wants to pretend like she does know something about law.
Crazy.
I do have a brain. I know something about law. That's speculation. Okay.
Said a moment ago that you disagree that hitman killed Professor Markel. That's what you said, right? So my question to you is, if you're able to say, well, it wasn't hitman, then who? Tell this jury, who on this planet would have wanted to kill Professor Markel?
I have no idea.
All right.
It's interesting she looked at the jury for that.
I have
he
no
kinda
idea,
said,
but
"Tell the jury."
I offered up like 6 different options in my police interview, but I have no idea. You have a lot of
Interesting.
ideas. And every single one of the options, but for one, was to help her, to protect her. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, my friends could have done it to protect me. Oh, Jeff could have done it because, blah, blah, blah. Charlie.
Yeah.
So it was all about her, which is how this attorney
He started the thing.
Yep. So he's bringing it home, baby. Yeah. So the judge he wouldn't have objected. He would have just taken control had the attorney not. But the attorneys are expected in most cases to work those things out if possible without the judge having to.
Yep.
Let's get into that a little bit. But I want to make sure that's clear. This joke is made right before Professor Markel is murdered, right?
The joke was made many times.
It was made right before Professor Markel was murdered. Yes or no?
Yes.
Crazy. Joke about a hitman, and then
July 18th,
hours later, hitman kills him.
You make a statement saying, I knew this would happen. You said that, right?
I did.
Now I want to talk about your knowledge.
I did. Very quiet. When you don't want to admit something, you're not like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that. It was like,
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
What was the question that he asked her that she just actually answered?
Let's replay it.
In your
Because I
belief on this.
interrupted a few times.
You're smart.
Oh, how come I can't find sorry. I want to just let that one set in a little bit.
Let's get into that a little bit. But I want to make sure that's clear. This joke is made right before Professor Markel is murdered, right?
The joke was made many times.
It was made right before Professor Markel was murdered. Yes or no?
Yes.
July 18, 2014, you're interviewed. and you make a statement saying, I knew this would happen. You said that, right?
I did.
Now I want to.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I did. And that's why Debbie said she deeply regrets that interview. I'm sure for a lot of reasons. I'm sure her family does too. They thought she could go prance in there, and
They thought she could handle it, and
because she was
everybody-
so intelligent and sophisticated, right?
such a good actress.
Oh,
Such a good actress.
and so smarter than everybody
Yeah.
else.
Mhm.
To talk about your knowledge and your belief on this. You're a smart person, right?
How am I supposed to answer that?
Well, let's go through your resume.
It's all about me. Yes, I'm smart, but I can't just say it.
I did.
You could explain to the jury what that means.
It means I studied a lot and got good grades.
Yeah, there are a couple things in this cross-examination that I think will come up in Charlie's trial, and that's one of them. And then the other was, I forgot what it was right now, but if you guys can spot it, it was only within the last few minutes. And also notice how initially we were talking about how DeCoste doesn't take her bait and get into a back and forth with her, but when the rubber hits the road and he's dialing in on an important point, he says, I want a yes or no answer. He didn't have to do that other times. So that's a great tool for us to learn in our personal life, what things to let go and what things to hone in on, right?
Yeah.
It means, and to speak, I'm from the Northeast. My Boston accent may give it away. It means you're wicked smart, right? You had a high GPA, a very high GPA.
I work hard.
You also went and you got a master's degree from the University of Cambridge.
Does she strike you as somebody who works hard?
No, I was just going to say, and again, it's not I'm smart. It's I work hard.
I'm still wondering about Charlie's, the allegations that Charlie's degree was basically bought, and just kind of wondering, was hers too? And all those appointments and schools, like getting into Cambridge isn't really that easy, but it is for certain people in this world.
I did.
You were a Gates Scholar.
I was.
You then go to the University of Miami School of Law, which is a top tier law school, tier 1, right?
Sorry, if you're part of the Adelson Institute, it's easy.
Right. We're talking.
The Institute. Yeah, that's another attempt at elevating themselves into something, because Institute is generally used for something of higher learning, not a corner dentist office.
Talking about your level of intelligence. You went to the University of Miami Law School, right?
I did, yes.
You also clerked at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals.
So what he's doing is, remember how I said she was dumbing things down? At work, we do this. Yeah, he's not letting her dumb herself down.
No.
Escape.
Appeals, right?
I did.
Now, to get a clerkship out of law school, it's a very difficult thing to do, right?
It's challenging.
You have to have top grades. You have to go through a rigorous selection process, right?
Yes.
You then become a professor at the Florida State University College of Law, right?
Yes.
You're also a published author. Right.
Now you're just embarrassing me.
Oh my God.
Why are you?
He doesn't think she's cute at all.
No, and I want to punch her in the face after that.
So not cute. Okay, again, we're not at a cocktail party. Chick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you embarrassed that you're a published author?
I don't like talking about myself.
Is it because
By the way, when she was answering up until that point, before she said, now you're just embarrassing me, when she answered, she closed her eyes slowly, and that's generally what she does when she's lying. So again, I'm wondering about this so-called resume of hers. I don't
all
see
the
it.
people though to say I don't like to talk about myself.
I know, but the point is, I mean, I have lots of friends who are academically just above and beyond. I've rubbed shoulders with lots of very, really sophisticated people. She does not come across as one at all to me.
Mm-hmm.
the book that you wrote discredited Tallahassee?
So just
and spoke
wonder.
ill of it?
The book did not discredit Tallahassee. It wasn't about Tallahassee.
Let's stay on top.
Anyway, let's stay on topic. he did a little fishing and then let's stay on topic.
Can I ask a question again with everything that you just went through? You're a smart woman, right?
I am a smart woman.
There's information about this case everywhere. You'd agree with me on that, right?
I've been advised by my lawyer not to read it.
All right. Now, we're not talking about
It's
reading
like,
stuff.
all right, we're not going there.
You're dumb.
I am a smart woman. Why not be? Yes, I am.
Exactly. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Because she can't.
She doesn't, either she doesn't want to, or she's trying to, it's ruining this facade. Her act, right?
Right.
Oh, you're messing with my lines here.
There's podcasts,
Right.
Also not to listen.
TV shows,
Also not to watch.
articles.
Don't read.
And so you've
Don't
made,
read.
you know, you're
I'm a smart woman, but I don't read.
I don't read.
I would tend to believe that. From the way she's coming across, like never picked up a book in her life.
a lawyer yourself too, right?
I am.
And you made the decision, I'm not going to look at any of this stuff.
Correct.
I don't want to know what happened to the father of my 2 children.
Not, I don't want to know what happened.
How can you say you love those boys if you don't care who killed the father that they loved?
Of course I care who killed the father.
Then why won't you look at the stuff?
I've been advised not to.
Are you afraid that when you look at it, you're going to realize that your brother did this?
I am not afraid of that.
Now, of course,
I
That
am
was
not
interesting. I'm not
afraid.
afraid of that.
Right. That was very choppy, very, very off of her base. And by the way, yes, Mentor Lawyer has the video, which he and I are going to discuss together on a video if I ever get home. But I'll do it from here if I have to. The 20 reasons Wendi is potentially involved in this murder conspiracy. And so we're going to be bringing that. If he'll still have me, I've delayed so long, but anyway, stay tuned.
There's a lawyer on SDS Surviving the Survivor that does this case with Joel.
Yes. There's a couple. Yeah.
But one of them has like 150 reasons Wendi should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's our pal. Yes. Carl Steinbeck and John, his brother. Yes.
I was very disappointed though in the last STS podcast about this case.
What
when they
was
were talking about, they were going over the witness and the evidence. And one of the people was Lori Hellis. And I'm like, you have nothing to do with this case. Why are you even discussing this?
That's why I didn't watch it. Yeah.
So I was disappointed with that.
Yeah.
And out of the 4 people that were talking, not one of them could say Magbanua correctly. Not one. They don't know how to say Katie Magbanua. And I'm like, if you can't pronounce the people's names in this, you don't know enough.
Your homework. Yeah. Well, there are 2 pronunciations, I believe, that are generally acceptable, but that is a name that gets.
I mean, it's tricky. It's taken me a long time to figure it out.
Right.
But
the case has been out there for a lot. Her trials, she's had 2 trials, and now, yeah, you could figure it out by now, I would think.
yeah, it was. I would highly recommend not listening to it. And I love STS. I love.
Oh, yeah,
STS,
yeah.
but
I think that's why I passed that one by. I haven't been able to watch or listen to much in the last few weeks. But yeah, I
don't listen to that one. Skip that one.
I don't need that.
and we won't get into privileged communications, but you've spoken to your lawyer about the case.
How are we not getting into privileged communications? Yes, I've spoken to my lawyer about the case.
You're very intelligent. You have one of the top defense attorneys in the country, former federal prosecutor, John Law, right there in the blue suit.
Who is now representing Donald Trump. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good freaking lawyer. That'd be like having
I think this is going to come up.
Simpson.
I think this is going to come up in Charlie's trial, if this comes up.
You're telling me with all of this at your disposal, your intelligence, his experience, and all this information, that you don't care to find out who it is that killed Professor Markel?
This is not that I don't care to find out. My job is to take care of those boys, and that is what I do. I don't see how it helps take care of them to go reading and watching and soaking up all of the horrible information that's out there.
You don't realize that you could be
Horrible.
helpful finally untangling this to give this jury the truth about what happened to Professor Markel?
I have been nothing but helpful since this started.
So what happened to their son? By you looking at it, you are at the center of all this, but you won't look at anything to help in the process.
I've done nothing but help in this process.
Again, I've done nothing but help. She said it twice, but
Mm-hmm.
she was complaining that she signed away all her rights and very put out by that.
And
Just an hour ago,
if you've been nothing but helpful, maybe do another interview.
right,
Maybe quit dodging the police.
right. Right. And I wanted to say, because many mispronunciations is brought up in this by the society page. And I say Lacoste instead of Lacasse, but again, they're both correct.
Yeah.
Technically, Magbanua, and Magbanua.
Okay, but they weren't even close to that, Dawn. Like
No,
it was like
I'm just saying, Georgia says Magbanua, and so I go with what Georgia says.
right.
I'm
No, I
Georgia.
agree.
And then Markel.
I think they had the Meg part, and that's it. Like they could not pronounce it.
Yeah, and
I'll
then
just say that.
Markel and Markel,
Right.
EL, not LE. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of mispronunciations.
No, and I understand that.
No,
but
no. Yeah, I'm just saying, because I'm guilty
This
of
wasn't.
Lacoste.
yeah.
I cannot say Lacoste. It just doesn't come out of my mouth. Yes, I know they butchered it. I believe you. I believe you.
Mhm.
I'm surprised that Carl would, but I'm surprised that Joel would. But that Joel's got doing so many different cases at this point.
Yeah.
You came here and testified.
It was actually the Dan Markel murder trial that
kind of started
brought
Joel.
Joel into true crime. Yes,
Yeah.
all of us, justice for Danners,
Yeah. Yeah.
justice for Dan Markel people.
Yep.
I
Oh,
came
hi,
here and
Paula.
testified. I spoke to the police for 6 hours without anyone present. I signed over my cell phone, my car, my house, everything, my computer. What else do I have or know that you haven't seen?
Now see how she is angry, how she signed everything over, but a second ago she's saying, "I've been nothing but helpful," twice. So,
Yeah, but now she's angry and
that doesn't
defiant.
look like, if you're wanting to be helpful, you're not going to be angry.
Right.
And why not just answer him? Oh no, I actually signed over. I gave them permission, not signed over. That's also
Right.
kind of a aggressive way of putting it, negative twist. But oh no, I let them help. I let them look at my car, my phone. I mean, you'd be more that kind of tone, not I did this and I did that and I did this. And I did
Right.
right? If you really were trying to be helpful, it'd be like, what else can I do? Could I do something? What do you think I should do? No, this is not the look of somebody who was being helpful.
No, and she is furious right now.
So pissed.
Correct.
Right?
This is not fun. I would not do this by choice.
You've been inconvenienced.
I've not been inconvenienced.
Professor Markel was shot in the head.
It's not fun, but I've not been inconvenienced. Well, which is it? Again,
I'm not complaining about being here. This is my duty. I'm here.
This is my duty.
We'll
Yeah,
get back to
it's
It's my responsibility. I'm not here to be helpful.
right,
It's my duty.
right.
you about being here.
What happened?
Do you honestly expect this jury to believe that you haven't confronted your brother about
I think
all of
she froze.
Yes, you did confront.
Robot.
Yes, I do expect them to believe that I did not confront my brother because I didn't.
Well, maybe you don't need to because you know the truth in this case. You already know it.
Okay, now right there when she said, I did not confront my brother because I didn't, did you see how her eyes were just fixed on him, tracking with him? Very different look. She's
Mhm.
like, it's like somebody who really finally has accepted this is somebody I'm actually sparring with.
Yeah.
Now she's going to be more aggressive. There's a point, I can't remember if it's coming up or if it happened already, where she starts leaning up on
Oh,
him. Watch.
That he went behind your
See
back.
how she's heading toward the
Mhm.
mic while he's asking? That's an aggressive stance.
hmm
Right?
It did not happen.
Just like he has done with past boyfriends. He's done that in the past where he's gone behind your back when you were having problems in a relationship and dealt with it himself.
No.
Blink, blink, blink,
Ms.
blink, blink, blink.
Adelson,
No, slow blink, and then blink, 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 as he allows that to set in with the jury.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that until you expose your brother what he did, that everybody's going to consider you as guilty. You understand that, right?
What is the question that you're asking me?
You understand that until you expose your brother and explain what he did, that he went behind everybody's back, that he hired a hitman to murder your ex-husband,
Keep up, Wendi.
you'll remain guilty in the eyes of the world.
I can't speak to the eyes of the world. I can only know that I have done nothing wrong.
Or maybe you are guilty.
I have done nothing wrong. In other words, she could justify what she did.
Mm-hmm.
What she could have said is, I did not have anything to do with Dan's murder. Nothing.
Right.
Right? But I've done nothing wrong is very general, so that's like distancing language.
I am not guilty.
So, a witness in this case, and I'm not going to get into their testimony, but one of the hitmen, the convicted hitman, implicates you. On July 17, 2014, the day before the murder, the morning before, he says that you were walking on Trescott with the two boys, that you walked down the driveway and into the house.
That never happened.
Now, did you see how still she was throughout
Mhm.
that entire question? She was taking it in. Again, her eyes are straight at him. She has not got the little girly flirtatious look because she
No.
realized it's not working.
Right, because Dan, Professor Markel, I apologize, Professor Markel, he had the kids based on the way that your guy's schedule was. On that day, he would have had the children in the morning, and you're going through such a bad divorce, you wouldn't be at his house, right?
I wouldn't be at his house anyway, but not because we were going through a bad divorce. At that time, things were pretty copacetic.
All right, so we're coming back to,
At that time, things were pretty copacetic because I had a sore throat and I wasn't able to talk to him all week.
And they weren't copacetic because they did have another big freaking court appearance coming up in
Following
regards to her mom. So don't sit there and say that things were good because they weren't good.
Right. I think she was there too. I really do. I don't think Louis got that wrong, Debbie.
The day before?
Yeah, the night
Okay.
before, the afternoon before.
Okay.
maybe you were involved.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? Again, you heard him.
Yeah.
And again, look how aggressive now. She's really moving in, and now that's an aggressive look, not a soft look.
Mm-mm.
Oh, hello, my love. I mean, really, Wendi, you spent 6 hours at the police station versus your ex-husband was murdered. Let that sink in, Wendi. You knew, Wendi, you knew. Yeah, I think most people with common sense, street smarts, would believe that.
What's the question that you're asking me?
I'm giving you a header of what we're talking about. So
What is the
easier
question that you're asking me?
Okay, I'm just telling you what the topic that we're on, so we'll get to a question. Now, the government asked you about a time that you,
That was pretty aggressive too. He's trying to lay the groundwork. She knows, and what was the aggressive? What was the aggressive? What was the question you were asking me? So she's trying to take control. Now look at how she's opening that bottle up, and I'm going to take some water. When people put something in their mouth when they're on the stand, it's usually because they're trying to shut themselves up and calm themselves down, just like covering their mouth, because they, oftentimes are lying, but we don't know for sure. But we have street smarts.
Allegedly.
it was actually spring break of March 2014, right?
I believe so.
You went down to Miami, you stayed with your brother Charles.
I went down to Fort Lauderdale after being in Immokalee and stayed with my brother.
You then went to Miami Beach to Yardbird and had dinner outside with your boyfriend at the time, or who you were dating, Jeffrey DeCoste. Katherine Magbanua was there, and your brother Charles Adelson, and you all ate outside, right?
We did.
And that's on Miami Beach, not in Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
Now, just for context, Jeffrey DeCoste, he was also an FSU professor, not at the law school, but an FSU professor. Nice guy, right?
I don't think so now.
Well, that's kind of also pretty immature, right? Because you're only a nice guy if you're doing what helps me. I mean,
Right.
she's basically saying it flat out. I thought he was a nice guy, but now
And then
he's
he's telling
testifying.
the truth about me.
Yeah, he's telling the truth about my brother, really. And because Lacoste didn't know anything about Katie or Garcia or Rivera.
Right.
No one likes you, Wendy.
No
I
one likes
believe
you,
that's
Wendy.
probably very
Amen.
true. Yeah.
I mean, obviously her mom and brother do, but that's about it.
You deny,
Blink, blink.
assuming, that on July 13, 2014, you told Jeffrey Lacoste that Charles looked into hiring a hitman. You deny that, or you admit that?
I deny that.
And that you told him that Charles looked into hiring a hitman back in September of 2013,
That never happened.
which would have been months before your brother even met Katherine.
She denies it. And then she said that never happened. Did you see the little glance over to Katie's table there?
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Third time.
Magbanua.
I don't remember when they met.
Letting you know the topic we're on, we're talking about you being involved. That same
Now, this is interesting too. Do you remember when she was saying, "Oh, I don't know when my brother does anything. I heard about her a couple of times, and so many girls." And then she just specifically said, "I don't remember when they met." That's
Instead of
different.
I don't know, it was I don't remember.
Right. Also, it's just also very like not in line with that other commentary that she was trying to put out there that, oh, he has all these girlfriends and she seemed perfectly nice and la la la. I don't remember when they met is something that I'm guessing she remembers when they met.
Right.
Sorry. I mean, I wouldn't have even thought of that, but she brought it up.
Right.
Instead of just saying, I don't know, like you
Right.
said. That was very interesting slip up.
week, earlier in the week, you sent an email. We're talking about the week of the murder now, not spring break, the week of the murder, not Yardbird, the week of the murder. You sent an email to Jeffrey Lacoste saying that you wanted to break up, that you needed space, right?
I did.
Sent him a long email, stay away, we're broken up, right?
She grinned when he said that. She
Mhm.
wasn't grinning. You send a long email and she's like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Think at me.
trying to hide it, but taking some pleasure in that. That's awful.
I did.
You knew that on July 18, 2014, Jeffrey Lacoste was leaving town to go on a trip, right?
I knew he was leaving at some point.
Up
Better
to
look up.
to
Yep.
the right. Yep. That's those memorized facts.
It's been a while since she's done that. Like
Mhm.
wow.
This one's important.
For
Mhm.
when.
You knew that he was leaving on the same day of the murder, at the same exact time as the murder,
I don't think I did.
11 a.m.
I don't think I did. The last words to Jeffrey Lacoste were, "Are you going to be here Friday?"
Right.
Remember? The last
Yeah.
words she spoke to him.
on July 18, 2014.
I don't think I knew when he was leaving town.
Get her shake her head.
Mhm.
It's a good way to put the blame onto
Trying to
somebody
sell
else.
it.
You'd agree on that, right? If it happened, it would have been a good way to put the blame on somebody else.
A little bit of pleasure there. Look at that. It would have been a good way to put the blame on someone.
And he screwed it up by leaving early.
Yeah. Good for him.
I have no idea when he was going to leave town.
You're in
Now she's saying, I have no idea. Before it was like, I don't remember. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's really distancing.
an interview, July 18, 2014. You said, my brother, he joked about hiring a hitman. Perhaps that was you just planting a seed to divert the attention of law enforcement away from you.
It was not.
Let's jump off topic right now and talk about your boys' names. That in the time after the murder, you changed their last names from Markel to Adelson, right?
A year later, yes.
Why?
I was
Why?
scared
Of what?
of someone coming to attack them.
So it's a year later.
Attack them, not shoot them in the face, like your husband was shot in the face, right? Attack them? Like what? Attack with a knife? What is she talking about here? That's
That was
so
interesting.
out there. Murder them, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I still don't.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't agree with any of this when she says this.
Well, of course.
I understand you and I come from different places, but it would
No.
not be my first thought.
Right. I mean, I believe that I get what you're saying. In general, if somebody has a loved one murdered, you might be shaken and nervous. But to say attack, that's
Right.
like a whole different mode of violence than what happened in the murder. So where is that coming from?
Later, you won't look at anything because you don't want to know what's going on in the case. And the thought is, well, they're going to be protected if they have my last name and not Markel, right?
Yes.
Now, years later, arrests are made. It's clear who committed the murder, Sigfredo Garcia Luis Rivera. The Adelson name has been dragged through the mud. Why haven't you continued to protect your voice and change the name back?
I will be changing.
That
We'll change the name.
That's
Is
so
a
smart.
great question.
It's so smart. Right.
That is a great question.
Right. And then this whole idea, we're going to change it again. And it's not going to be Adelson or Markel. Like, what the hell? Like,
And
no, who changes their name 3 times? Like, I don't have anything to do, with my time. So I'm just going to change our names again. What is that? That actually could be truthful. She might be like wanting to go somewhere, create a new identity for herself once her brother and mother are put in prison. That's her plan. So that's a little bit telling right there. But I just think that's weird. Oh, we're going to change it again.
It's also interesting that the boys are now old enough to be looking at this stuff themselves and be listening to this stuff themselves.
Yeah, they are now. Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's interesting to see what they're, I don't know. Anyway.
Yes. And GWTA Geo says they had more planned for the frame up had Jeff not gone early. I'll bet if Jeff was arrested or the main suspect, Wendi would have said she went and saw Danny the day before and they made up. Ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good theory. And GWTA says, Geo says, Luis Rivera said he saw her in there the day before. Yes, that just came up a few minutes ago. Exactly. I believe Luis.
Mm-hmm.
I stand with
that will
Luis.
help. One day I'll change all of our names.
The government asked you about it.
I'm just going to go change all of our names. So it's something she's thought about in advance.
She has.
Right.
Crazy.
That blows me away right there. I didn't get that before. I've seen this like 3 or 4 times. It's like she would have had to have thought about it previously.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops.
You explained that as an attorney, you understand that when the government gives a subpoena for somebody to testify, that it conveys immunity, right?
That's my understanding. My knowledge of criminal law dates back to 2003 when I took a semester in law school. So forgive me.
Graduated law school. Right?
I'm so
I'm so dumb. I'm just so dumb.
so smart, but I'm so dumb.
Which is it?
This isn't my area of law.
God.
When you clerked on the 11th Circuit, it was with Judge Jordan, right?
I did immigration appeals.
Yeah, but you still dealt with criminal stuff as well, too.
Very little.
So your understanding, though, is it doesn't mean they can't arrest you. They just can't use what you say here against you later on. So you're protected.
Correct.
And you needed that to testify, right?
It's just given to testify. It's not a question of whether I needed it. It comes with testifying.
So now all of a sudden she knows what it means. Remember when she's like, well, I don't know exactly, but I think it means
I
that
don't understand
can't
criminal
charge
law.
right. And then GWTA Geo says she also sat there with her friends that Jess was so jealous. Yep, had a bad temper, and would have been true. He yelled at her so much she curled up in a ball. I remember that.
Gosh, I hate her.
Stay in a ball.
Charged by them, so you need to have that protection of
I
your
don't
words.
fear being charged for a crime I didn't commit. No.
Now, y'all had this nice exchange where it was pleasant, but there's actually tension between you and this office, right?
No,
They recently had your brother Charles Adelson arrested, and he's in custody, right?
correct.
For first-degree murder.
But there's no
Correct.
tension.
And there's no tension?
It's very uncomfortable to be here. It's hard to tell where the tension is coming from.
They've discussed your involvement in this case. They insinuated it on the direct examination. There's no tension?
Let me just suggest that the tension is coming from the witness box. That tends to happen when you're trying to twist a tale.
Lots of media insinuates that I did something I didn't do too. I can't feel tension towards every person in the world.
Yes,
It's
you
funny,
can.
I thought you didn't look at anything.
I don't, that's why.
But you know that you know about the media, but you don't know about the media?
I know about the media because it keeps me from employment. It keeps me from lots of things in my life. I'm aware of what's there, but I don't read the minutia so I can sleep at night.
Ms. Adelson, 5 minutes ago, you said you don't look at any of that stuff.
I
Now I
don't
asked you a
look at
question.
it.
Let me finish.
Sure.
5 minutes ago, you say you don't look at any of that stuff. Now I ask you a question, you say you look at stuff.
That's not actually what I said. I said I'm aware that it exists, but I don't read it. I don't listen to it.
Then how do you know that they're bashing you?
You just told me they are.
No,
I did.
no,
How
he
about that?
didn't.
Come back to it. You can think of
He
a better
says-
answer.
I did? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Mm-mm.
That was all you, Wendy.
Oh, you, Wendy.
Okay?
I'm not thinking up an answer. I'm telling you the truth. I'm sorry if you don't want to listen to it.
Your basic understanding of criminal law, though, you know that if the defense gives you a subpoena, you get no immunity.
Correct.
Question, improper question.
I'm not going beyond that question.
All right, that's the only question you can ask on that.
If I give you a subpoena, you don't get immunity, right?
Correct.
Let's talk about your parents. The government asked you about your mother and father, Donna and Harvey, right? The government could do the same and subpoena them so that this jury can watch them get questioned, not nicely how Ms. Kaplan questioned you, but to be cross-examined by me.
Objection, improper question.
I'm going to sustain that.
Yeah, he's
That's a
not allowed to
different
ask
question.
about that.
Are your parents here in Tallahassee right now?
No.
Are they back in Miami?
Yes.
Do they have any plans of coming here this week or next?
I don't think so.
No. Your family dynamic. It is your mother and father, Harvey and Donna.
Did you notice her squirming around in the chair? You can see the chair moving there when he was asking that about her mother and father coming to testify. Yeah, she's been pretty still in that chair for the most part till then.
There's you, you're the youngest, Charles, and then the oldest, Robert. Right?
Correct.
And he's a doctor up in New York.
Correct.
Now, the government asked you about the relationship, and you're like, we don't talk much. It's actually much deeper than that with Robert, isn't it?
We don't talk
At all.
at all.
And the reason is because your parents were so difficult about the woman that is now his wife.
That is not the reason why we don't talk.
I'm not talking about the reason why you don't talk. Let me clarify the reason why your parents don't talk to him.
That's not the reason why they don't talk to him.
Are you saying to this jury that there wasn't a problem where they outright objected to his marriage of a woman that was not of the Jewish faith?
That was initially what happened, and then there was actually a beautiful reconciliation, and they're very happy about the marriage.
A beautiful reconciliation.
But yet nobody talks to him?
Robert and his wife, not your family.
Robert and his wife and our family were very happy about Robert's marriage.
So what happens is that Robert is in love with a woman. Your parents object. He breaks up with her and then dates a Jewish woman, right?
And then they got married and divorced, and then he got back together with the person he wanted to be married to. Yes.
With his true love.
Yes.
But there was a
Who's
lot
not
of
Jewish.
family because of your family's involvement in the kids' marriages, right?
Yes.
She finally admitted it, and she was pursing her lips like, I don't want to talk about this. Okay.
Yeah, but
That's
she at least answered a direct question for the first time.
Finally, she finally, again, but the jury sees that he's got to drag that out of her. Hey, go Georgia.
Let's talk briefly about your children. The government had asked you in the topic of Jewish faith, keeping kosher. I mentioned a bat mitzvah at one point in time. You're currently planning a bat mitzvah for your oldest, right?
No, it already happened.
Okay, now that is a very, Christopher, I'm obviously not Jewish, but my understanding is that it is a very, very important thing in the Jewish faith.
It's a very important milestone.
And for those that are very conservative in the Jewish faith, those that keep kosher, so to speak, it's even bigger.
I don't know that it's more important to one segment of Judaism over another, but it's an important coming of age ceremony.
It's where a boy becomes a man. Did you invite Dan Markel's parents, kids' grandparents?
I did.
You invited them.
I invited them, yes.
When was the last time they saw face to face their grandchildren?
April 20th,
Of this year?
just now.
And you
Just
So
now.
crazy how it's so convenient.
So convenient.
agree with me that it had been
This makes me
years
so mad.
since 2016, since the last time they had seen them.
The visit stopped when they threatened to put my children in foster care, yes, but up until that point, they did have visits.
You got no problem letting them see your brother Charles, right?
I'm sorry?
You have no problem letting them hang out with your brother Charles, who's now sitting in custody for first-degree murder.
Well, they can't see him now, can they?
No, they can't, but I'll ask the questions. For years, they weren't able to see their grandchildren despite their pleading to you to see them. But you let them, let me finish, but you let them hang out with your murdering brother, right?
Ooh, buddy.
Children were permitted to see their grandparents. I cooked for them. We had play dates. They had sleepovers. When the letter surfaced that they were trying to have my children placed in foster care, the visits,
Wendy, we have already established that is not what happened.
the visits would have stopped with him too.
You say you love your boys.
That is not what happened.
Don't care about the father that they love. What
I
happened?
never said that I didn't care about the father that.
Oh my gosh.
Look how much
She,
We saw all of it. That's the real Wendy.
that is the mask coming down like, woof.
Right. Isn't
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Then look at some of the discovery and help figure it out.
Excuse me?
Then look at some.
I wonder how many times she says, "Excuse me."
Right?
Like,
Go
do you
back
have
and
a hard
count
time
that.
hearing? Do you not hear my voice? Should I turn up my mic? Yeah.
Of the evidence and help figure it out so that more lives aren't ruined by this.
I seem to not
Mr. DeCoste,
understand.
you need to ask a question now. You're making statements now. You need to ask a question.
Understood, Your Honor. If I could have one brief second to check with co-counsel.
Woo!
She is so mad. The
Yeah.
side eyes that are coming out.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Girl.
Now her arms are crossed.
She's doing everything she can to collect herself right here.
Mm-hmm. Look at the way she's staring him down.
Yeah.
Nostrils flaring. Yep.
Get
Lord.
it under control, girl.
We started this by saying that this is all about you. It started with you because of this marriage, right?
No. Well, you tried to say that, but I don't agree.
Say, listen, I'm going to make one final attempt through questions to implore you. You understand that you can't protect your brother Charles, who's going through this case, and protect yourself at the same time. You understand that, right?
I'm here to share the truth with you. I don't know how to answer the question.
Then please end the madness and share the truth. Will you please share the truth with this jury?
I've been sharing the truth since I walked in here. I've done nothing but share the truth.
You know what happened here,
Done
despite
nothing
your
but-
claims to the jury that you haven't looked at anything, you haven't discussed with anybody, and you haven't confronted your brother. You know what happened here,
I
right?
do not know what happened here, and if I did, I would have shared it with the police 8 years ago.
You know that your brother,
She did share it with the police 8 years
did.
ago.
your
Yep.
brother
I mean, my brother.
behind your back, don't you?
I do not.
Like he always does. This is something that he has always done,
It is
isn't it?
not.
That face.
After that your brother had done this and gone behind your back, that's why you were thrown up at that dinner, right?
No, it's not.
That's why you were
You know
thrown up
that
at
it
that
didn't
dinner.
involve Katie either, right?
I don't know anything
If
about
if you're not going to say all of that and finally give the truth, why don't you just admit to this jury that you're guilty?
because I'm not guilty.
Read motion.
she should have said, I'm not the one on stand here, am I? I mean, I'm not the one on trial here, am I?
Right.
Like, I'm not guilty. This is interesting.
Redirect.
And that's how he left it. The last thing she said is, I am not guilty. That's on purpose.
Yeah.
I
And look
almost-
at that face. Look at that face.
Ooh. Yeah.
My goodness.
You were asked about the reason why you stopped contact for a period of time between your ex-husband's parents and your children.
Yes.
And you referenced a letter that
Oh, it hadn't been established yet in this trial. Sorry.
children in foster care. Is that an email that was sent from the Markels to my office?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in reference to, in the event that you and the people that care for these children, who at the time were very young, were arrested, that the grandparents wanted to make sure, because they live in Canada, right?
They do.
They wanted to make sure that a specific organization could be contacted to care for the children, so that someone was there to care for them until a relative could get there.
I don't remember the bit about a relative getting there.
The
Well, they
bit-
weren't just going to leave them in foster care, right?
I don't know.
Okay. But the
Oh, Wendy.
nature of the email, you will agree, was
Of all the things, this is the most, to me, like the most heart-wrenching thing that she did, that she does to this day. Those the Markel family, those grandparents, it just makes me sick.
I agree.
in the event that there's some kind of mass arrest, because they don't know who's getting ready to go to jail next, right? I mean, they're not privy to the investigation any more than you are, right? Law enforcement investigations, they're secret.
Sure.
Okay. And they're concerned. Would you agree the concern ultimately in the email was for the care of the children?
The concern was to make sure the children were under good care, but as their mother, I know they're always under good care with me,
Right, but
and there's no need
the
for
email
foster care.
contemplated you not being available to care for them
That's not possible.
because it's not possible for you to get arrested.
Correct, because I've done nothing wrong and I believe in our justice system.
Okay. Well, just wanted to clarify the nature of that. In this case, you were asked about, why aren't your parents coming to testify? You, as you mentioned, gave a police interview in this case, right?
Correct.
And consented to the search of your phone, etc. You gave testimony in this case, right?
Yes,
All right. And your parents did not, correct?
they did not give testimony.
They have not testified. They
They've
have
not
not
been
given a
asked to come
police.
testify, but they would if they were asked.
Okay. And have they given any police interviews?
They would have, but the police never contacted them.
Police did contact them, didn't they? And they refused.
No,
Are they represented by counsel?
they are represented by counsel.
I thought she never was supposed to talk to her parents about what was
Right.
going on.
You shouldn't know. That's where her, I don't know.
I don't know. We don't talk about this. We don't, it's off limits. Whoops.
And they'll come testify if we want to.
If they are under state subpoena, just like I was, they would come testify.
All right. And do you know what they would testify to?
They would testify to whatever they know.
Do you know what they know?
I have no idea what they know.
They've never told you.
No,
You've never asked them
no.
because you've never had any conversations with them about this murder.
I've been advised by my counsel not to.
All right. So nobody, including your brother Charlie, has admitted or denied to you any involvement in the murder one way or the other.
Correct.
Same with your parents.
Correct.
One moment, please, Charlie.
Okay.
And there it is.
I was wondering if Go Georgia could explain any better about when she said that apparently they're getting dirty or they're playing dirty. If she could type in what she means by that comment.
The Adelsons.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is just the ending here.
No, sir. She's free to go about her business.
All right, free to go. Thank you.
Run,
No
run, run,
jury
get out
que-
of here.
No jury questions this time.
Right. They saw enough.
That's interesting.
They
All
had
right,
enough.
let's put Ms. Rodriguez back on the stand and complete her cross-examination at this point.
And she runs out of there.
Actually, Your Honor, we're going to waive cross.
And that's been to our lawyer, seeing if he can get a statement.
Counsel.
That's our guy. Okay, well, you guys, I have to run. Okay, Go Georgia made a comment about the Adelsons playing dirty. I missed it.
Yeah, in a different comment, she mentioned, I wonder what the mask has come off. That's the real Wendi. I wonder what she's like behind closed doors. Apparently, they're getting dirty or they're playing dirty.
Oh, let me look.
Somebody made that comment.
I did put that up.
Yeah.
Such a liar.
I know.
About the foster care, that just makes me, just turns my stomach.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where the comment is. We'll find out. We'll find out because we interact all week. So I don't see it now. Anyway, okay, gotcha. So she was saying the Adelsons are playing dirty. Well, they're playing dirty for one thing. I'm guessing she's saying because they're saying, "Oh, sure, we'd come and testify," and then they are not really. I mean, this is just infuriating to me too.
I know it's
and I know a lot of people. Okay, here it is. I know a lot of people are worried that by doing these kinds of videos, they're going to be doing their homework and preparing, but you can only prepare so much if you're guilty. And if you're, Jeff DeCoste said she would fall apart on the witness stand if she was actually grilled. And so they're saving that up. The prosecution still has more tools in their toolbox. So behind the scene with Rashbaum, and that's Charlie's attorney and family, apparently they're playing dirty now. So I see what you're saying. So maybe
I was just wondering if she could clarify
what she meant. Okay. We'll find out. We'll find out from Go Georgia. Yes. And there is a hearing, thank you, Go Georgia, on the 9th that was added. So that'll be interesting.
I assume it's to try and get stuff thrown out.
Okay. Yeah, they're they gotta ask. They gotta ask.
Yeah.
They gotta try.
Yeah.
Okay, kids. Yeah, I think she's can be prepped, and I think she was prepped and rehearsed. But she doesn't, there's no way to prepare for everything, right? And if they continue to grill her,
the mask will fall.
Oh, she's just too volatile. She's just too volatile and too I can't see it working out.
And I also saw something where much earlier somebody commented that Donna would Donna would give up and let Wendi, like Donna would put herself on the sword or whatever. And I don't think that's the case, because it all stems from Donna, the matriarch, who is raising her children to be like this. So I feel like it would be more important for Donna to throw Wendi under the bus so she could stay with the children and continue to raise those children. Now, I could be wrong, because I don't know nearly as much as everybody else, but I cannot see Donna falling on the sword for Wendi.
Yeah, it's a good guess. She might say because she's already older and she doesn't have that many years, and Wendy's the mom, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But I don't see anyone falling on the sword for anyone in that family. I think they're all going to fight to the end.
Yeah.
And I do think that they're just going all the way from the bottom up, right?
Yeah.
They have Luis, Sigfredo, Katie, Charlie. Because Donna was part of the bump with Charlie, it would make sense that Donna might be next. Maybe Harvey, Wendi. Yeah. I think Harvey, it's going to be hard to get anything on him because it was Donna doing all the.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you guys, I have to go because I'm taking care of my mom, and she's way late for lunch. She's got to help out in time here. So, and I know Katie's got to go, but we will be back. We'll figure out when we're going to come back. And I'm so glad we got through this part.
Yeah.
This is the best part, was the cross-examination, I think, but all built up to this. And you can see how she's contradicting herself in so many ways. Yeah. So it'll
keep us updated when you go with
mentor lawyer.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. I wanted to finish
be on
this.
that.
Yeah, I wanted to finish this series, and then Mentor and I. So I wanted to get this done first. So I didn't realize it was so long, but so I told him I was still here and that I'll be home next week. So I hopefully next week.
Yay!
Okay, guys. Thank you all.
Right, thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, Matsuri. Yep. Harvey at Matsuri. Yep. We'll see the pecking order if Wendi will be last. Could be.
Yeah.
So we will find out soon.
Yay.
I hope for justice for Dan. Okay, everyone, take care and thank you so much for being here.
Bye.